lot of fun.
こやつが我が孫娘の腕をちぎり寄った男か。
へえ、一般人を犠牲にしてあんたら高官が不老不死を得て世界を統一するね。
そのために作られたこの国のリーダーだ。何をためらう。戦いのない世界を作るのだ。
そのために一度滅びろって。
To create, you must destroy, eh?
滅びではない再生だ。お前たち錬金術師の言う再構築だ。一般国民に与えられるのは死ではない。我々の中で永遠に生き続けられるのだ。そして共に世界を一つにすべる。善は一、一は善。一となり全てを。
Oh, the slipper.
だってさ、あんたたちどうする？
But it was interesting to hear from that perspective.
そうすればあの方に口利きして。
Did I just see this man's cheeks?
上官の命令には従わなければなりません。しかし正直もう何を信じたらいいのか。
この後に及んでまだ迷っていられるとはな。信じられもしない上官に付き従っていても、それは忠誠とは言わん。ただの自己欺瞞だ。
そこは中央兵に囲まれている可能性が高いですね。
分かった。そっちも危険が迫ったら逃げろ。私のことは捨てていけ。
ある程度降りたら来た時みたいに脱出用の横穴を掘る。
脱出。
一緒にどう？あなたたちも一旦体勢を立て直した方がいいでしょ。
Oh, great transition. Great animation as well there.
近いな。
やっぱそう思うか。
Careful, careful.
おやおや、こんなところにギャラリーが来るとは緊張してしまうね。
Oh my god, this guy.
私かね。キングブラッドレイを作った。
Yeah, he was there in that flashback.
ということは、そっち側の人間か。
おや、君よ。ラジオ局にいるものと思っていたが、わざわざ出向いてくれるとはね。
Is this a process? Yeah.
キングブラッドレイになっていたかもしれない男たちだよ。
では、
But they're still pretty formidable.
たまりものだよ。もっとも彼らはずっと戦闘訓練を積んできた。
Okay, I think this man is. But yeah, this might be the whole trying to take Mustang from potential candidate to a sacrifice, right? Ooh, great transition. Man, Buccaneer. That is one tough mofo. Man, put the chains. Oh my god. Here comes the Sakuga. Oh. Oh. Ah, they switched. Oof.
私より年寄りなのによく動いたものだ。だがこれで終わりだ。じいさん。
Is he playing possum? Okay.
前に腕を切り落とした女の時と同じだな。またそうして捨てられない者のために己の命を危険にさらす。
この戦いの老いぼれなど捨てなされ。
バカ言うな。
俺にあの男と同じになれというのか。王は民のためにあるもの。民なくして王はありえない。あいつは自分の国の民をも見捨てようとしている。あれは俺の目指しているものとは違う。
Oh God. Oh man.
そうですな。休みを。
Eternal.
人間をいただきましょう。
But I'm not sure he's done just yet though.
降下しろグリード。若の体を守れ。若、王になりなされよ。この老いぼれはここで永遠の痛まをちょうだいた。地獄へ付き合ってもらうぞ。ブラッドレー。
Oh my God.
この命かけても傷一つつけられぬというのか。若、面目ありません。たとえ神のごとき目を持っていようとも、見えないところからの攻撃は防ぎようがあるまい。
Oh my God.
じいさん、地獄への道行き付き合ってやるぜ。おお、かたじけ。
Yeah, that's quite the strike. Ooh. Oh. Whoa. That's wrath. Oh. Great sound design. Mustang, careful, careful. This man is about to put something into motion here that
錬金術の禁忌とされる人体錬成。それを試みた術師は真理の扉を開くことになる。中を少し持ってかれたわ。こんな話軍人さんには興味なかったかしらね。
as a woman.
何のその真理の扉とやらを開けた人間こそキャスラの言う人柱。敵の企みを知る手がかりになるかもしれません。
その真理の扉を開けてまで、自分の肉体を犠牲にしてまで再会したかった相手があなた方にいたと。
どんな代償を払ってでももう一度会いたいと思える人。
それこそ軍人には無縁の話。死んだ者への未練など無意味。死なせないために戦うのみです。
そりゃそうだわね。
少し分かったような気もする。エドワード・エルリック。初めて会った時、知っていることを何もかも話せと脅しましたが、あの少年は幼なじみを人質に取られていることを決して口にしなかった。察してくれと。あの目は我々軍人のそれとも、ましてや軍の犬と呼ばれる錬金術師のそれとも違った。これ以上何があっても大切なものを失うまいとする。
引き分けのない子供の目。
あのまっすぐな目に心動かされなかったと言えば嘘になる。その愚直なまでの思いが果たしてこの戦いで活路を開くのか、あるいはあだとなるか。
これでよし。さあ、そろそろ始めようか。おいで。
No, don't let him do that. Keep attacking.
なんだ。
行くよ
ー。
このセントラルに大総統府直轄の錬金術研究所がいくつあるか知っているかね。
今使われているのは市内に4カ所。いや、第5研究所5カ所、5つの頂点を持つ錬星人。まさかあのカーブした地下通路、研究所をつなぐ。
Oh my god, oh my god. This doctor is playing a crucial role here. Right, he's got the same instincts as animals, right? So it begins?
ここから先こそがおそらく敵の中枢。みすみす九州の好機を逃すわけにはいきませんのでな。
あなたたち。いろいろ世話になった。
あ
ありがとう、泉カーティス。
こちらこそ、アームストロング少女。
Oh my god, it's happening. The sacrifices. In Hohenheim? And but how is Mustang going to come into this? How? Oh no, man. Okay, folks, another day, another insane cliffhanger, and I'm sure this is going to continue right up until the end. I just kind of have to get used to it at this point. But no matter how many times you think you're ready for it, it still just it really gets you, doesn't it? But you know, I know I've been saying this a lot recently, but that really truly was insane. Because now it's getting to that point. The sacrifices are being collected, right? 3 of them that are showcased on screen, Azumi Sensei and the brothers, Al and Alphonse. Alphonse and Ed, right? And I'm guessing the reason I didn't see Hohenheim is probably because they're about to join him, right? So I suppose it could be down in that underground HQ, or they might materialize in front of the truth. It could be at that point, perhaps. But yeah, my first thought is that if Hohenheim isn't being shown here, they're probably going to join him, right? Of course, that still leaves the 5th sacrifice, and then they, you know, really kind of allude to that in this one for sure. Hell, I thought this scientist, this man, the golden tooth doctor, as they call him, I thought he was actually about to initiate some kind of thing, something that is going to force Mustang into becoming the 5th and final sacrifice. But it was more so kind of collecting these sacrifices, right? So that still leaves that empty spot. You still have Mustang, who has been set up since the beginning. You know, it's just one of those things. All of us know since the beginning, you know, the moment he was set up as a potential candidate for sacrifice, yeah, you know, it is going to be him. And you see the doctor's reaction to seeing Mustang. He's like, you came to me. You made it easy for me, right? But there is a bridge that has to be crossed here, right? Because you see that the episode itself, through Azumi Sensei and, you know, Olivier and Alex Armstrong and some of the others that are there, she is explaining once again how exactly one becomes a sacrifice, right? You perform human transmutation, considered taboo, and then, of course, you have to pay the toll, the price. And the price is something from your body, essentially, right? So the fact that they're also reminding us, the audience, at the same time, not that any of us need a reminder about that, you know, it's been something that's been firmly established, right? A sacrifice has to be someone who has performed taboo or human transmutation. one and the same essentially, or human transmutation is considered taboo, right? But here you have her, or you have a character almost officially confirming it for the audience, just in case at this point of the story, just in case if a small percentage of the audience didn't quite understand that aspect of it, this confirms it, right? And the fact that it is being confirmed in this specific episode, it makes sense. So it's a reminder that somehow they need Roy Mustang to perform human transmutation, to perform taboo. But that's the thing I keep scratching my head about. How exactly are you supposed to force Mustang into doing that? I mean, actually, you know, saying that, or as I'm saying that, I'm realizing, yeah, you could, there's a few things you could do to force him into it, right? Kind of like a life and death situation. And they're kind of I don't know if they're in the middle of it just yet, but this doctor might have something else up his sleeve, I'm sure. You know, clearly it is part of his responsibilities to get Roy Mustang as the fifth sacrifice as well, right? But listen, he's got a lot of massive responsibilities here. Like I said, he's playing a crucial role here. You know? And then of course you have to start thinking about this guy, this doctor. Why exactly is he a part of this? And continues to be a part of this? And you know, I was going to ask or kind of comment on his look. Yes, he looks a little bit older, of course. You see even on his skin, the detailing on his skin makes it clear that he has aged, but he was already kind of old, right? Around the time you have a young King Bradley going through that brutal test, essentially. 55 years plus since then. So he hasn't aged that badly. So maybe he is also on something. So maybe there is something going on in his buildup as well. Maybe he was given something by father, promised something by father as well, right? But you know, beyond that, I'm a little bit puzzled about his inclusion in all of this, him playing such a massive role, given the fact that, you know, they haven't really set him up as someone important. Yes, you know, they've set him up as someone who is crucial to a lot of these things. Again, the creator of the Führer, of Wrath, essentially, or fusing Wrath with a human candidate successfully. Though, of course, you see some of the rejects or some of the leftovers are still around. I was under the assumption that they all died. They just couldn't last. That insane procedure. But yeah, they're around and they're formidable. Even if you're half as good as King Bradley, or even a quarter of King Bradley, you're still incredibly difficult to go up against, as kind of showcased in that fight sequence, right? You've got Scar, Hawkeye, Ed, Roy Mustang. Listen, I'll be honest, a thing that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb is the whole, you know, absence of his flame alchemy, right? That being said, of course, you see that there is an attempt made on a few different occasions, essentially, to initiate it, right? And at one point, his glove is ripped up as well. But, you know, there's also a bit of an anime moment as the doctor calls all of these failed, you know, Führers essentially back into the circle as sacrifices, I suppose, to initiate this. It did that thing of the characters just kind of standing there and letting it play out and not really doing anything. Yes, you know, there's a case to be made that they're all kind of bamboozled or baffled, but listen, a lot of them, Ed and Scar and Mustang, they've all been in some insane situations. So to see them just standing around and letting this go down was a little bit, you know, it felt a bit anime. But going back to the absence of the flame alchemy, yeah, there's a few things that you could kind of use to explain that situation, right? Again, his glove, he does try it a few times and he gets countered by one of the minions, I suppose. And then at one point there is a shot of the glove ripping up as well. Maybe that recent encounter with Envy actually changed his perspective, right? Now he's a little bit more careful about actually utilizing his flame alchemy, right? Maybe given the close quarters nature of this setting, he wasn't as confident about actually using it, right? Friendly fire and all that. But that deconstruction moment, you know, that moment as Al, Izumi Sensei, and Ed get dismantled, right? Disintegrated in front of these people, right? I think the most notable reactions here are of Olivier and Mustang. I mean, Mustang's reaction, ooh. Yeah, I thought it was really quite notable. But you see the look of despair, the hopelessness in the face of the unimaginable, right? The impossible. How do you even begin to understand this? How do you even begin to explain this thing that's going on in front of you to someone that you care about or care for, right? Imagine Sig looking at that. Because see, us, the audience, knows, of course, they'll be fine, even though it looks quite insane. Of course, they'll be transported to some place. Again, I threw out the two possibilities here, but these characters, the people that are part of the story, they don't know this. They have no clue because they've never seen anything like it or kind of been around that. So to them, this is insane. This is end of the world type stuff, right? Speaking of end of the world, I love how there is a bit of a comedic element to the fact that Al and his group are kind of late to the end of the world. So, I can certainly enjoy or appreciate that aspect of it. And it felt kind of realistic. But yeah, I thought it was really quite jarring and impactful to see people such as the stoic Olivier Armstrong have that expression on her face. And then, of course, Mustang having that reaction to Ed being taken. So yeah, of course, the aftermath of this is going to be interesting. But Mustang has to be careful here because he's going to be up next. Right? Something is going to happen that is going to cause his inclusion somehow, right? Now, in terms of the possibilities, kind of getting him to cross that bridge and performing human transmutation, performing taboo, you kind of have to twist his arm somehow. But the thing is, even around the time he lost his friend, right, his brother, Maze Hughes, even then, he didn't actually attempt it, right? He thought of it, and he actually got a better understanding for the Elric brothers and their attempt, but he still didn't actually try it or anything. So to me, it feels like a really tough task to get him to that point. I mean, listen, at this point in time, someone that is really quite special to him is right beside him, right? Hawkeye is there. So unfortunately, I could see a scenario that might have Hawkeye in quite a bit of danger, perhaps. And that might twist his hand. That might force him into it. But I'm trying really hard to not think about that possibility of Hawkeye dying or being killed and, Mustang kind of becoming desperate and forced into it. I really don't want to think about that possibility, but it is a possibility. It is, isn't it? So let's see how they get him to do it. The thing is, I do believe they'll get him to do it, right? Because like I said in the last discussion as well, I do believe they'll get their thing. Father is going to initiate it. He'll get the 5 sacrifices and he'll do his thing. But then, of course, like I mentioned, I do believe there'll be another counter to that. And then it might go back and forth, the whole ebb and flow, like I mentioned in the last discussion. So I'm not going to go into that again, but I do believe he'll get his 5 sacrifices. Now then, let's kind of focus on 2 legends. I think it's fair to call them legends at this point. Fu and Buccaneer. Listen, I didn't see any on-screen death as of yet, but let's be real. They're about to die, aren't they? And they actually did something incredible. I think their potential sacrifice here could actually end up being so crucial in potentially defeating King Bradley. This might have been the most substantial blow ever landed on King Bradley. He got stabbed in the gut, right? He got caught off guard, stabbed in the gut. I saw his expression, that, shocked expression that you simply do not see on his face. I saw it once before, right? It was recently, not recently, but around the time he meets the new Greed, right? After Greed said something to him. I can't quite remember the exact thing he said, but yeah. I saw that look twice in quick succession, right? So of course, Fu put up an incredible fight. He goes up against him, goes toe-to-toe. Unfortunately, even Fu's best is no match. It is so disheartening. Imagine being in that position, that you're giving it your all, everything you've got. And Fu is really quite incredible himself, right? Nothing. He could do nothing to King Bradley. And the thing is, it's not surprising, is it? And it's realistic. It's realistic that even someone this impressive, someone like Fu, is just not able to just do anything, really. But ultimately, his final sacrifice, his final charge, does end up playing a part in landing, again, one of the most crucial blows ever landed on King Bradley. And listen, let's not forget that this is not the same homunculus, or he's not the same as the other homunculi. This man cannot regenerate. He's built different. And he took a substantial blow. And not just that, because of that, he gets blindsided again. And he takes a blow to his ultimate eye, the left side. Now, I'm not sure if it's completely taken out. But the fact that, Ling and Greed together, actually, it felt like both of them are launching a unified or a united attack at that point. And you see that both of them, even Greed, screams out for Fu. And I love the presentation of that. You see, of course, the ultimate shield version of Greed. And then you see Ling, his appearance, his face, both of them side by side, right? Kind of screaming for Fu. Making this final charge. I mean, it's a kamikaze attack, isn't it? And oh my God, this man Bradley, King Bradley, I never get tired of saying it, but this is a bad motherfucker. This guy is so cool. He just is. I mean, I think it's fair to say that this is one of the coolest anime characters I've come across. He really is. There is something inherently cool about this character. But yeah, even if Fu's initial attempt didn't quite play out, his final charge, his sacrifice actually does end up helping out nonetheless, right? And I love how Buccaneer had so much respect for him. And he saw the opening, and he saw that this man was all about that life. He was all about that charge. He was ready to die, right? So I love that there is that mutual respect there, and of course, that moment. I'll keep you company, on the way to hell. Something along those lines. My goodness, it's an incredible scene. And that visual, that frame of the blade, the sword that Buccaneer pulls out of himself, King Bradley's sword, right? And then stabs through Fu and King Bradley. That frame of them, unfortunately, it's a difficult frame to look at because, Fu is sandwiched in the middle. But oh my goodness, that is like an all-timer type frame for me, at least. It is so striking, so insane to see that. But yeah. I mean, this is insane to see King Bradley take these types of blows, right? Significant blows in quick succession as well, because of course, Lingreed or Greeling jumps in as well, and you truly see wrath on display at that moment. So this is a significant turning point in terms of potentially defeating King Bradley. And a part of me, I'm not gonna lie, a part of me is a little bit, not upset, but a little bit sad, that King Bradley actually took such significant strikes. But I'm also proud, you can be both at the same time. I'm proud of Fu, Buccaneer, Greeling, right, together, coming together, even if it was really quite unpredictable in its nature, but all of them landing these blows or playing a part in landing these significant blows. I love that. I love that it's these three, right? It's not Mustang, it's not Ed or Al, it's not Scar, it's none of them. It took this combined effort of these three to actually make it count at the end of the day. Finally make it count, right? That's going to slow him down. That's going to have an impact on King Bradley, surely. And then, of course, the animation itself, the fight sequence. Beautiful. Up top, down below. Beautiful, right? A few fantastic Sakuga moments as well. Really enjoyed the fight sequence down below as well. You know, you've got Scar, Mustang, Ed, and Hawkeye, all of them. But yeah, it's so grand and epic in its nature and scale at this point. I'm just really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I know I'm in the final phase of the series, right? April is going to be the last month for this series. So yeah, of course, it's bittersweet, but you know, I'm really, really, really enjoying it because it feels like it's so earned. Like I mentioned before, it feels like it's been building up to this. I feel like I've been through this incredible journey. All the episodes that are behind me at this point, leading up to this. Oh my God. I just love it. I love that aspect of storytelling. You know, a trilogy of films, a series of books, seasons of a show, everything building towards something. This feels so incredible to me, honestly. But yeah, let's kind of focus a bit on the Olivier Armstrong and Izumi Curtis. I like to call her Izumi Sensei as well. It feels like she's my sensei as well, you know? So I really enjoyed those two getting a chance to talk it out or kind of learn a bit more about each other. You know, they really do have a lot in common in terms of the types of people they are. But a scene I really quite enjoyed is that bearded guy who Izumi Sensei, you know, tunes up a few episodes ago. Now, you know, they get a lot of information out of him. And listen, even if, you know, he's quite fanatical and his beliefs are really quite misplaced, I thought it was an interesting perspective to gain, to really listen to this guy and really kind of get an understanding of how he truly feels about this, right? He's not bullshitting. He actually believes this. He feels it, right? Even though, of course, none of it is ever going to happen, for them at least, right? These people, again, they're just pawns, but he truly feels it. He believes it, right? You know, one for all for one, right? The perfect being, eh? Everyone being reborn and becoming part of this collective, right? I mean, it's certainly an interesting concept. But of course, Izumi Sensei is not going to stand there and let this man twist the laws of alchemy to justify his own perspective, to justify this narrative, right? And she lets him have it twice, right? The slipper. She gives him the slipper. You know, that I feel like that's a thing that's unique to perhaps Asian culture, Middle Eastern culture. But then also in the same scene, I thought it was important to focus on the perspective of some of these soldiers, some of the smaller people that are part of this large conflict, right? They matter. Of course they matter. And I love that in this final phase, they're still kind of focusing on the little man in all of this. And then, of course, you know, Izumi Sensei and Olivier give them quite the perspective on this, don't they? Right? I mean, Olivier, you know, again, she's got a no bullshit approach. She tells them, you know, listen, you know, following a leader or superior that you don't truly respect or back or believe in, you know, that's not loyalty, that's self-deception, right? And then, of course, almost immediately you get the other end of that. Olivier and the relationship that she has, this incredible relationship and bond and loyalty that she has with her own men, the people of Briggs, the soldiers of Briggs, right? You see that one guy, it killed him. It killed him to accept that responsibility or that command. You know, leave me behind. Leave me behind. Don't come for me. If it kind of goes down south, the situation. And it hurt him. It really hurt him to accept that command. And right then and there, you see once again, you know, it's not something new. They've established that the people of Briggs, the men of Briggs, have this incredible loyalty towards their superior. That is the incredible Olivier Armstrong. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is someone that they believe in, a superior that they can kind of fight for because she earned their respect, right? It wasn't a case of just, this happens to be your superior, you listen to anything they have to say, right? That's unfortunately the situation some of these soldiers find themselves in. And that's, you know, it is one of the things that this anime, this story has kind of focused on, right? Sometimes soldiers are following orders, right? Sometimes soldiers are put into these positions, you know, again, Mustang and his storyline kind of focuses a lot on this, especially earlier on as well, you know, him and Maze Hughes, right? And his whole goal of making it so soldiers never have to be in that position again, right? Something like Ishwal, But yeah, I think that should do it for this one, folks. And you see at the end there that, unfortunately, L'Enfant showed up as well. So it'll be interesting to see how she, I mean, of course, she's going to be devastated. She is devastated. That's one of the final things I see, right? So she's about to join that fight as well. She's about to lash out and go at King Bradley. So yeah, let's see how all of this plays out. But yeah, I'm incredibly excited to see the continuation, the aftermath of this episode. Truly, truly exciting stuff. So if you enjoyed this, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you're interested in full length, timer-based full length, of course, or perhaps even early access to the next few episodes right now, consider checking out the Patreon page and also supporting the channel at the same time. If you're interested, the links are in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media, things like Twitter or Instagram, if that's your thing. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for episode 58. Until then, take it easy.